A random search online for images of women who practice female genital mutilation or cutting, also known as cutters, show them in traditional attire displaying the tools they work with, either on a tattered piece of cloth or on their bare hands. These tools are razors, local knives, scissors, scalpels, and pieces of glass, which they use for the partial or total removal of the external female genitalia, most times the clitoris, for non-medical reasons. This is mostly carried out on girls between infancy and age 15, as stated by the World Health Organization. Now, these tools once used to carry out FGM as part of inherent cultural beliefs are no longer part of the identity of some cutters in Nigeria. This is the case of Charity Afokwalam, whose grandmother taught her at 15 how to circumcise a newborn girl, a knowledge that was also passed to her by Mrs. Afokwalam's great-grandmother. It was how the culture was passed to every girl born in Warri in Nigeria's Delta State.
My belief I have is that when this organization came to us, they told us about this gender base. Then I joined them, hoping that at the time I was doing it, I'm right. But I saw that it was very risky.
While the World Health Organization sees female genital mutilation as a violation of the human rights of girls and women, Mrs. Afokwalam was told that she was saving girls by controlling their sexuality.
That time, everybody was doing it because our forefathers and mothers have been doing it years before us. And as of that time, they say that when the circumcision was done to female, the female may not be worried to be a harlot or to go to man.
If a woman is circumcised or not circumcised, you cannot stop the woman not to have sex. We look at our streets, you go to our different communities, you see young girls going stag naked, having some, then they take prostitution. It doesn't mean that it's because of do they not circumcise? They circumcise them. Yes, they are still doing their business.
This made her decide to follow her grandmother, a known cutter in Warri, for every circumcision. Making money from the practice was also a bonus.
He used razor blade to cut it small. When he cut it, it be like skin. Then he remove it small, very small. When he remove it, he use one leaf, chile. Then he will take the leaf. Before then, he has plucked the leaf, put it down, wash it. Then he will take the leaf, warm it a little on the fire before starts rubbing it. When she rub it finish, she will take it to rub it on the surface of that thing. Then it will stop bleeding.
There are several reasons why women practice FGM, which include psychosexual to control women's sexuality, sociology and culture initiation into womanhood, hygiene and aesthetic appeal, religious doctrine, and socio-economic factors a prerequisite for marriage. The medical cutter. Like Mrs. Afokwalam, Fumilayo Ajayi, 68, learns the practice from her grandmother, but practiced hers medically as the head of midwives and traditional birth attendants in Ikere local government area of Nigeria's southwest state, Ekiti. Women who patronized her felt comfortable with her because, being a health practitioner, she would perform the act with better hygiene. Female genital mutilation or cutting is not only perpetrated by traditionalists, but also by health workers. But even when medicalized, UNICEF says it is still not safe and there is no medical justification for the practice. The global body estimated that at least 200 million women and girls have undergone FGM, out of which over 20 million of them were mutilated by a healthcare provider. The national prevalence of medical female genital mutilation is above 10% in 8 countries, including Nigeria. The Journey to Redemption. The death of her grandmother in 1977 launched Mrs. Afokwalam into personal practice. In 1983, she moved with her family to Oforola, a community in Nigeria's southeast state of Imo, where she combined trading, farming, and cotton. She went about the usual business of cotton until the gospel of End FGM got to her one day while seeking medical attention at a community health center in 2018.
What made me to receive the message is that they have told us many things about it that is very, very dangerous. Disadvantages, there are many disadvantages in it. That is what made me to stop it. Number one is it causes bleeding. It causes infection and long labor at times.
She saw some community residents known as OP Committee lecture nursing mothers who had come to immunize their children. OP means trumpet blower in Igbo. OP Committee are selected community residents who campaigned against the FGM practice. The committee was birthed from an awareness program on gender-based violence carried out by a non-governmental organization, Honor Birth Foundation, in two Imo communities of Forola and Oluku in Owerri West local government area.
Now, with the rate of engaging these community women, and that led us to have a response committee, which we call the OP committee. The AZs, their members, influencers, the imbotors, they come together.
Mrs. Afokwalam approached the secretary of the OP committee to become a member in August 2021. Since then, she serves as an advocate against the harmful practice. Mrs. Afokwalam is part of the 15 men and women who make up the OP committee. The health workers who are part of this committee routinely check the babies brought to the health center for immunization and during postnatal days to monitor the prevalence of the practice, which they said has drastically dropped.
Before the creation of awareness, we've been seeing more of them during immunization day. You will see up to 12, 13 with such problem. But now we have corrected it.
For Mrs. Ajayi, the criminalization of gender-based violence and constant sensitization made her stop.
What is up where anybody?
The Nigeria Demographic and Health Survey testifies to the decrease of female genital mutilation in Nigeria, finding alternative income for previous quarters. While it was easy for Mrs. Afokwalam to forgo the practice because she has other businesses she runs, Mrs. Ajayi, on the other hand, is still struggling. She was part of the beneficiaries of former circumcisers who were given 250,000 naira by the Ekiti state government in 2021 at the Drop the Blade initiative to discourage the practice and to enable them to use the funds as capital to set up a business. However, Mrs. Ajayi still pleads for more financial support. FGM survivor Mrs. Aladejare Salako condemned the recurring requests from the former quarters.
When I hear circumcisers, ask for alternative source of income for them to stop FGM, what readily comes to my mind is that the person asking or the people requesting for such have not yet internalized the fact that FGM is harmful.
We have cutters that are down their tools. Research has shown that providing them economic support does not work. What we need to do is to really address the causes and then to also to link them up to livelihood.
Mrs. Afokwalam and Mrs. Ajayi, who have seen the light, hope and want cutters who are still practicing in secret to stop, mostly because of its harmful effects on girls and women.